So Vietnam was celebrating 50 years of the end of the Vietnam War, or Liberation Day as they call it, and joining in on the festivities is China. Absent from the festivities is the USA. Now, this isn't anything too newsworthy in and of itself, but it is fairly symbolic given everything that's been happening the past few weeks. Previously, China and the US had been playing something of a diplomatic tug of war with Vietnam, and despite some territorial disputes Vietnam has with China, Vietnam's been keen on remaining on good terms with everybody. For example, both the US and China are a part of what Vietnam calls a comprehensive strategic partnership, which is the highest diplomatic relationship you can get with Vietnam. Now, everything was going smoothly until Trump announced his tariffs, and Vietnam was set to get slapped with a painful tariff of 46%. In early April, the Vietnamese General Secretary naturally calls Trump up to ask what's going on. It's a genial conversation, it sounds like. It was basically to reaffirm relations and maybe get rid of that 46% tariff. The General Secretary even invites Trump to an official visit, and Trump graciously accepts. For the time being, the tariffs get paused, which they're still trying to hammer out negotiations right now. Meanwhile, China is urging the Vietnamese to oppose what it's calling US bullying. Xi Jinping also visited a number of Southeast Asian countries, including Vietnam, in what's described as a charm offensive. Not as a response to the tariffs, they had this planned for a while supposedly, but it's convenient timing because China is eager to present itself as a more reliable partner to these countries than the US. Trump had a very suspicious attitude to these visits. He remarked that they were to, quote, screw the US, unquote. Anyways, the Vietnamese, like shrewd diplomats, were very receptive to the Chinese while not scorning the US, despite the threat of tariffs, as opposed to the Chinese, who are a lot tougher in their rhetoric. Anyways, skip on to the end of April, and as the Vietnamese are celebrating their reunification day, you can see the Chinese are right there with them, whereas Trump has urged US diplomats to avoid it. Whether this was the right or wrong move is not for me to say, but it's worth keeping an eye on Southeast Asia to see some interesting diplomacy in action.